There are a lot of ways to cause pain in Fallout 4, but what if you had severe pain in your lower back from carrying your failing relationship and could only rely on your trusty walking stick to ease that pain? In this video, we will find out, can you beat Fallout 4 with only a walking cane? Starting off strong, my wife immediately tells me something that no man should be told with hair like this.
I like it. Makes you look younger.
Gave him the perfect physique. For my skills, I put 8 points into strength for more melee damage, 6 points for endurance to take more punishment, 4 points in agility for sneak and action points, and finally 7 points into luck for criticals. I made my way to become a frozen popsicle, watched my wife die, immediately set the difficulty to survival, and make my way through Vault 111. I used the doors to escape the rad roaches, and then escaped the vault. There are a few spawn points for the walking cane. I visit the pharmacy over at Lexington to grab the walking stick so I can defend myself. With that, I immediately headed to Concord to help Preston Garvey and pick and chose how I engaged very carefully. I used VATS to try and kill E-Raiders, but locked myself in animation. I died for that. Next attempt, I make sure to separate them this time. I spoke with Sturgis about a fusion core I already had, watched a Deathclaw send a Raider out of orbit, then, when he came after me, it only seemed fair to give him a taste of his own medicine. I reported back to Preston and returned to Sanctuary. He then tells me of a settlement that needs my help. Making my way to the settlement, I found myself being pursued by a rat scorpion. I thought I'd be safe once I made it to the settlement, but I was then humbled very quickly. Making it to the settlement, I was asked to take care of some raiders. First attempt was going well, until it wasn't. Next attempt, I just took things a little slower, using sneak attacks and VATS, and reported back to Preston. And wouldn't you know it, he had yet another settlement that needed my help. I tried brute force against the raiders, but my health is made of wet spaghetti noodles. Making my way back, I saw the raider praying to whatever god for forgiveness for what she did, and I thought, why not help her ask him in person? Making it inside, I took a raider out from behind and got my head taken off by a Molotov very soon after. Making my way back inside again, I managed to use my sneak skills to take out the raiders before they could even realize they were dead. On my way back to Sanctuary, I saw a Yogwai, then saw another Yogwai take my arm off soon after that. Finally reporting back to Preston, he then made me travel to the drive-in to set up a radio beacon, but before I could do that, I needed to play a little game of whack-a-mole. I set the radio beacon and reported in for more XP. I then decided to make haste to the police station to help the Brotherhood with the ghouls, but instead, I watched my face get eaten as Paladin Dance couldn't hit a shot to save my life. On my way back again, I ran into Wolfgang and decided to help Trudy. I just sat in a corner till I knew the fight was pretty much won. Making it back for the second time, I managed to get slapped hard enough to be put to sleep. Again. I eventually talked with Paladin Dance, and we made our way through ArcJet. I mostly just followed Dance, as he took care of all the problems in our path, and cooked him as a sign of thanks. I grabbed the transmitter, and agreed to join the Brotherhood. From there, I made my way to save Nick, and got humbled. I managed to hide in a room, and use VATS to whack anyone that came in whacking range. Getting through the subway was easier than I thought it would have been. I watched a man fall and break his own ankles, and killed anyone that dropped down into my loving arms. I stealthily put Dino to sleep. I rescued Nick, took a little time to fill some of my empty bottles with clean water, and tried to encourage peace, but instead got shredded into pieces. I ran past Skinny's group and made it back to the surface with Nick, but I guess Nick didn't like what he saw and decided he was happier as Skinny's prisoner. Trying to help Nick, I found myself in a terrible situation that ended with me getting riddled with bullet holes and dying over and over again, till me and Nick finally turned things into our favor. For some reason, Nick decided to take the long way out. I told him about my experience as a popsicle in Vault 111. I called Dogmeat to help track down Kellogg through the wasteland. I got overwhelmed by a couple powerful ghouls, and finally made it to Fort Hagen to immediately save. On my first attempt through Fort Hagen, they shot me so many times my stickman body couldn't take it anymore. On my second attempt, it didn't go much better. But on my third attempt, I somehow tapped into my inner solid snake and managed to take out nearly every synth using my sneak criticals. Dealing with Kellogg, I used the same method I used on the synths, because if it works, why would you change it? On my final sneak attack, I managed to disarm him, but his fate was already sealed regardless. The reinforcements finally arrived. I traveled through Kellogg's memories, met the crew in the Pridwin, and was instructed to clear out Fort Strong. But not feeling comfortable in my current level, I took care of a few Brotherhood quests. Dealing with Reese's quest, I was told to clear the subway station in College Square. Clearing it out was easy. I just used my skills to sneak attack every ghoul unnoticed. After taking out the final ghoul in the subway station, I spoke with Scribe Halen and went to complete her quest to complete 2 in 1. Doing what I do best, which was swinging my wooden stick, I acquired the driver. I report back to Scribe Halen another quest well done. While exploring locations for more XP, I was killed by what was maybe the best nade throw I had ever had the chance to experience exploding into my tender body. While exploring, I found a settlement that needed my help. I played a dangerous game of back and forth with a raider in power armor. How I didn't die in this situation is beyond me. I somehow snuck up on these 2 raiders, even though they were clearly looking at me, but I can only assume their eyes just couldn't accept that there was really just a crazy old man taking down an entire raider outpost with just a stick. I took care of all the raiders and claimed another settlement for the Minutemen. Feeling confident, I made my way to Fort Strong to finally continue the Brotherhood story quest. I led majority of the super mutants to the settlement nearby to thin the numbers a little bit. First attempt trying to deal with the behemoth, I got to witness a perfect reenactment of my younger self trying to play fight with my older brother. The second attempt was no different. I bonked him, he bonked me back, and I was instantly sent to the afterlife. Eventually, after maybe a dozen different attempts, the behemoth was finally taken down. I took my time carefully clearing the first floor of Fort Strong and immediately saved right after. And I'm glad I did so, because the mutants in the basement made short work of me. Next attempt though, I made them come to me and I put my skills I had into sneak and criticals to good use. I reported back to Elder Maxon and he gave me the best thing you could probably ask for while playing on survival difficulty: fast and easy transportation. I flew to Vault 111 to restock on water using empty bottles since long distance travels weren't such a hassle anymore. I then flew to the nearest location I could to the glowing sea. I found Virgil, who directed me towards the way of a courser. Finding my way through green tech genetics went way better than I thought it would have. I pretty much just continued putting my sneak skills to good use. I spent probably a good 20 to 30 minutes slowly making my way through the gunners to only get killed at the point just before reaching the courser. Second attempt, I just decided to use my jet to ignore and run straight towards the elevator that'll lead me to the courser. Using a stealth boy and some strong chems, I immediately went straight to work on his health. Having to fall back to hopefully finish him with a sneak, he made me question reality by teleporting behind me, but even that couldn't save him from my stick of justice. I had the railroad decode the chip, flew back to the glowing sea to return the Virgil, reported to the Brotherhood about the teleporter, and successfully made it into the Institute. I failed to convince Dr. Lee with words, so I had to do her a favor and break into Virgil's lab to find some evidence of what really happened to Virgil before he left the Institute. I reported back to Ingram, and then she told me I needed to find a high-powered magnet in a dangerous location. I just went and bought one in Diamond City. Flying to the Sentinel site to pick up nukes for Prime, I got a beautiful view of Diamond City. Nothing really interesting happened for the most part while making my way to the nukes. My stick helped to convince a child of Adam to give me the password for his terminal. I don't know why, but the Assaultron decided to forgive me for killing his master, and I'm glad he did, after witnessing what he did to the glowing one. I flew back to the Pridwin and was informed that Dance is a synth and must be destroyed. And destroyed he shall be. After Dance was taken care of, they told me that the railroad needed to be dealt with as well. No one in the railroad was really a threat except for Glory, and I'll just let this clip speak for itself as to why. Once Glory forgot about my existence, I snuck behind her and removed her existence. Finally arriving at the Battle of Mass Fusion, All I could do in the vertebrate is just sit there and let the enemy slowly take my health away, so I decided to equip some power armor to take a little more punishment. Me and Ingram took care of the sentry bot. I began panicking once I became trapped in a room with an assaultron that was nearly ready to delete me from existence with the beam of death, but I managed to escape that attack in the nick of time. We eventually lifted the lockdown, and I decided to help out clear the Institute reinforcements with the Brotherhood soldiers. I inserted the agitator into Liberty Prime and slowly made our way to the Institute. I pretty much kept a very safe distance as Liberty Prime and the Brotherhood soldiers took care of all the threats. We infiltrated the Institute, and I primarily sneak attacked the Synths while they were distracted by the other Brotherhood soldiers. I said goodbye to Sean with his father's favorite cane, thought about helping with the final fight to the reactor, but something told me, after seeing what happened to the other two that participated, that it wasn't a good idea. I placed the bomb on the reactor, blew up the Institute, and completed the game with only a walking cane. This will be the end of the challenge video. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If you guys have any ideas for challenges in the future, leave them in the comments. I plan to try and upload every week or every other week, and I hope to see you all in the next video.